Imagine this. You wake up in the middle of the night, you look outside, and the entire sky is on fire. Not with flames, but with falling stars. So many that they look like a rain of light, a celestial waterfall. This isn't a modern-day sci-fi movie. This was the reality for millions of people across North America on a single, unforgettable night in 1833. This is the story of the Great Meteor Storm, a night when the heavens fell and forever changed our understanding of the universe. It was the night of November 12th, stretching into the early morning of November 13th, 1833. All across the continent, from Canada down to Mexico, people were awakened by an incredible spectacle. The sky was alive with meteors, not just a few streaks here and there like we see today. Witnesses reported seeing tens of thousands, even over 100,000 meteors per hour. The sky was so bright with shooting stars that you could read a newspaper by their light alone. They seemed to radiate from a single point in the constellation Leo, which is why we call them the Bad Bach. Then nobody knew what they were or where they came from. All they knew was that the sky was falling. The public reaction was, as you can imagine, intense. In an era before widespread scientific literacy, the most common explanation was supernatural. People poured out of their homes, falling to their knees in prayer. Many were convinced it was the end of the world, Judgment Day unfolding right before their very eyes. Preachers and prophets declared it a sign from God. Newspapers from the time are filled with dramatic, first-hand accounts. One writer in Boston described it as a continuous shower of fire. Another in Missouri said the meteors fell like flakes of snow. Imagine the sheer terror and all. There was no internet, number 24-hour news, to explain what was happening. For that one night, it seemed like the very fabric of the cosmos was coming undone. But amidst the panic, there were those who looked up with curiosity instead of fear. One of these was a professor at Yale University named Denison Olmsted. He wasn't just amazed. He was determined to understand. Olmsted began a groundbreaking investigation. He put out a call in newspapers, asking people from all over the country to send him their observations. He wanted to know the direction the meteors were coming from, how many they saw, and at what time. This was one of the first ever examples of citizen science, gathering data from the general public to solve a scientific mystery. By carefully collecting and analyzing these accounts, Olmsted made a revolutionary discovery. He realized that all the meteors appeared to be originating from the same point in the sky, a point that moved with the stars, not with the Earth. This meant the source of the meteor shower had to be from outer space, from beyond our atmosphere. This was a radical idea at the time. Most scientists believed meteors were just an atmospheric phenomenon, like lightning or rain. Olmsted's work was the first solid proof that these falling stars were actually cosmic debris entering our world from the vastness of space. This single event kick-started the modern study of meteor astronomy. Scientists began to wonder, if this happened once, could it happen again? They started digging through historical records, looking for mentions of similar events. And they found them. They discovered that a major meteor shower seemed to happen roughly every 33 years. This led to another incredible breakthrough. They were able to link this 33-year cycle to a specific object, a comet named Tempel-Tuttle. So, what exactly caused the sky to fall in 1833? It turns out, it was our planet Earth flying through a trail of dust and debris left behind by this comet. Comets are essentially giant, dirty snowballs orbiting the sun. As they get closer to the sun, they heat up and release gas and dust, creating a long tail. This debris doesn't just disappear. It continues to orbit the sun in a long, dusty stream. Every year in mid-November, Earth passes through this stream, and we see the Leonid meteor shower. But 1833 was special. That year, Earth didn't just graze the edge of the debris trail. It passed directly through a very dense, freshly laid cloud of dust from comet Tempel-Tuttle's recent journey around the sun. It was the cosmic equivalent of driving your car through a thick swarm of insects. The result was the most intense meteor storm in recorded history. Each tiny speck of dust, most no bigger than a grain of sand, burned up as it hit our atmosphere at incredible speeds, creating those brilliant streaks of light. The 1833 storm had a lasting impact that went far beyond science. It ignited a public fascination with astronomy that continues to this day. people started building observatories, forming amateur astronomy clubs, and buying telescopes. The idea that the universe was not just a static backdrop, but a dynamic, active place full of moving objects was thrilling. It was a pivotal moment that shifted our perspective from being earthbound observers to citizens of a much larger cosmos. Scientists predicted that another great storm would happen 33 years later, in 1866. And they were right. While not as spectacular as the 1833 event, it was still a major meteor storm that confirmed the theory. People all over the world gathered to watch, now with scientific understanding rather than apocalyptic fear. They were witnessing a predictable, natural phenomenon. But here's where the story takes a mysterious turn. The next predicted storm, around 1899 and 1900, was a bust. It was a huge disappointment. Astronomers were baffled. What happened? It turns out the gravitational pull of the giant planets, Jupiter and Saturn, had slightly altered the orbit of the comet's debris stream. Earth was no longer passing through the densest part of the cloud. The great storms seemed to be over. Then, in 1966, the Leonids came roaring back to life. For a brief period, over parts of the western United States, observers witnessed another incredible storm, with rates reaching thousands of meteors per minute. It was a stunning reminder of the power hidden in these cosmic dust trails. And it happened again, to a lesser extent, in the late 1990s and early 2000s, producing some beautiful, memorable showers. Yet, even with all our modern technology and understanding, nothing has ever truly matched the sheer intensity and visual splendor of that one night in 1833. It stands alone as a unique event in modern history. It was the perfect celestial storm. Earth passing through the absolute densest part of a comet's trail at just the right time. Will we ever see anything like it again? Scientists say it's possible. The orbit of the debris is complex and ever-changing. One day, perhaps in our lifetimes or our children's, Earth might once again pass through the heart of the storm. The Great Meteor Storm of 1833 was more than just a light show. It was a turning point. It transformed fear into curiosity, superstition into science. It showed us that the universe is not something to be feared, but something to be explored and understood. It reminds us that we live in a dynamic, ever-changing solar system, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you might just look up at the right moment to see the heavens fall. So the next time you're out on a clear night and see a single shooting star, take a moment to remember that incredible night in 1833 when the sky put on the greatest show on Earth. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the cosmos. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen a meteor shower. Until next time, keep looking up.